Hello and welcome back to RC Tested. In this episode today we're looking at the E-flite UMX Timber by Horizon Hobby. This was sent to us by H.O.T New Zealand. So the timber is based on the 1.5 metre model. It's the design of the aircraft is a STOL aircraft, which stands for short takeoff and landing. It is a UMX, but it has been intentionally designed for outdoor use rather than inside use. It is quite a large model for a UMX, and it runs on, which is sold separately, a 280mm 2-cell LiPo. I'm using this one here. It's a Youngtong one, and it uses the balance lead as a connection plug. The motor on it is actually quite large for a UMX. It's a 180 sized at 3000 kV. So I'll go over a few of the features of this model. So it's a baseline of all E-flite products. Includes safe and AS3X technology. So it's got built-in gyros to stabilise the aircraft, so it limits the pitch and bank of the model and prevents the model from flying inverted. And when you take your hands off the transmitter sticks, the aircraft will maintain straight and level flight, so it levels and corrects itself. And the scale features, so it's got the initial same scheme as the 1.5 metre timber. It has got the Tundra style tyres. These Tundra style tyres are made from just a foamy material, lightweight foam, which is what you want. You don't want them to be heavy. It does take off concrete easily, grass, as long as it's short enough, and you can take off a little bit of a gravel. Don't expect a huge amount of it because it is only a UMX model compared to talking about 1.5 meters where it can climb over a bit more. I intentionally only just hand launch it down at the field, and then I just land it straight down on the grass. With this feature of this model too, it's a really nice scale looking aeroplane. It's got built-in flaps, which I'll show you. So where the E-flite symbol is, that's where the flaps are, and the AS3X. They're a lot of fun to play with. The takeoff and landing, experimenting, I play around with either using full flap for takeoff or half flap or however. It's just a lot of fun. Then doing the same thing for landing. And seeing how slow you can get it, like they do with the full size. It's got these nice little slots in the wing. I'll zoom in so you can see it forward a bit. So it's got these nice little slots in the wing. On the edge of the aircraft, I'll zoom in a bit. So it's got light circuit boards, so it represents scale, nav lights, and also the top beacons, which is a great little feature. Also on this particular model, it's also got ailerons, so if you decide to disable the AS3X and safe technology, the safe can be disconnected with a switch. The aircraft is very manoeuvrable, so it's capable of doing knife edge, and believe it or not, you can do a bit of prop hanging with it. You can fly inverted and do just all sorts of different kinds of aerobatics, and it's got a really great roll rate when everything's turned off. As I say, if you're a beginner, it's a real ideal beginner's model, but if you're a bit more of an experienced pilot like myself, well, definitely experienced, you can disable the AS3X and safe technology and fly it around, do all sorts of aerobatics with it, so it's a lot of fun. It's also got a functioning rudder, so you've got a bit of rudder authority as well. The battery doesn't actually slot in underneath, it actually slots to the top, so I'll unzoom that. So if I put it down like this, whoops, so the battery slots into here, and I'll zoom in for you guys to see. Right, my tripod's a bit stiff, it's only a cheapie. Anyway, So you can see there's the brushless motor. Just make sure that you try and keep everything clear, because this part in here does turn because it is an outrunner. I'll explain the differences in a video one day about in-runners and outrunners. It's very, very simple anyway. And the battery just slides in here. There's a piece of Velcro here. It just connects straight up. So overall, it's a very stable aircraft to fly with the safe technology and the AS3X keeping the aircraft stable. I flew it in a bit of wind. The lights are a bit of a novelty. I mean, you can see them more during the low light times of the night. Well, getting more close to sunset, and more earlier in the morning. During the day, they're not so visible, but that's alright. I mean, it's just to add to a bit of a scale feature. Lastly, the one thing I do want to point out about this model is that it's not really actually with this model, it's just because of the way it comes with. I was a little bit disappointed with that. Unlike the 1.5 meter one, it came with floats. Now this offers the floats, but they are sold separately. It would have been nice if they did include them with this model, since the big one came with it. But not everybody needs to worry about floats or anything like that. But it just would have been a nice little feature to have. So what do you need? So you will need a LiPo charger that's compatible with charging 2-cell. You'll also need a 2-cell 280 mAh LiPo pack, which gives you about a flight time of about 8 minutes. These batteries are quite good to stock up on. I mean, if you buy a lot of the UMX models, most of them, like the UMXs and the Waco and things, all use this, including the Timber. There'll be sure others. And you will also need a Spectrum radio, which is compatible with DSMX. I think they're all, except the really old ones, most of them are all compatible with Spectrum DSMX. If you're not sure, it will actually notify you on the screen when you start them up, but if you've got any of the new version 2s, they're all absolutely fine. If you don't have a Spectrum radio, but you have got a modulator radio, you can use a DSMX module. Otherwise, pick up a Spectrum radio. They are really good little radios, and they're available at good prices. They start off fairly cheap and working their way up like most radios. But anyway, well, that's the UMX Timber. I highly recommend it to anyone who likes cubs or style aircraft or anything like that. And even if you don't, it's a great beginner's training plane. I highly recommend it, even if you're starting to get into the hobby and you just want to have something to play around with. So that's the UMX Timber. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and stay tuned. We have got more videos coming up soon. And if there is any products that you would like to see in up and coming videos, please put a comment below and we will certainly have a look. No guarantees, but we will consider looking at some of them. Thanks again. Bye for now.